The responsible tourism is such a big topic, isn't it? I mean, and I thought the best way is to try to focus it down and look at the destinations sort of relevance and their role in all of this. And what they can start to do is, instead of letting hotels and airlines dictate the carrying capacity, how many visitors are in their cities, what if they let the attractions sort of be the tail that wags the dog and have more influence over that? And I think by doing that, people aren't coming there to fly, and they're not coming there to sit in a hotel. They're coming there to do the amazing stuff that city has to offer. So if we let those things determine the amount of people, I think we'll get fewer people, we'll spread out the season, and it's going to be a better experience for all the visitors. Venice is the classic. It's been compared to Disney World for forever. Amsterdam's been getting compared to that, and Barcelona has. Now, it's long been thought that these large cities can absorb huge amounts of tourists, but the thing is, it's not the entire city that's absorbing them. They tend to go to a few key areas, and anyone who's traveled to these big cities will know that you see tourists everywhere, and it feels overcrowded, even in a big city. And that's because they're not evenly distributed through the whole city. And if we can sort of wake up and start to realize that these city epicenters have even more tourists per local than even a little town like San Gimignano in Italy that feels run over gets. I think we can sort of wake up to it and make better, smarter decisions. There are some specific smaller models that are happening. There are things that are just happening this year. I mean, I think it's great to see that the Cinque Terre in Italy have started to actually create tickets and sort of sort out their overcrowding problem that way. I know Dubrovnik have had overcrowding problems, and they're now coming to grips with it, and they're going to set limits on the amount of people they let into the old town. And I think if we can follow some of these examples, if bigger cities can, and figure out a way to do it, we'll be heading in the right direction. So they've been looking at the wrong metric in tourism for a long time now. We've been looking at something they call heads in beds, the amount of visitors that come. The real metric is revenue. And so if we're looking at revenue over a year, we have to sort of focus on spreading tourists out. We have to focus on having better pricing, and actually there's all sorts of clever tricks you can do to up the spending by getting people to spend more in advance, by getting people out of queues. If they're in a queue, they're not in the consumer loop anymore. So by just doing these basic, actually visitor and quality improvements, they're going to increase the visitor spend as well, and then they can focus on the real metric, which is revenue. This is a similar thing to what hotels have been doing for a long time, or restaurants have been doing. When you call up, they don't just say, we'll get you in a restaurant across the street. They say, you're going to have to book 3 Saturdays from now to get a table. Well, this is exactly what destinations are going to start to need to do by letting people see that with transparency, the booking situation at top attractions. When people are going to book their flights, if they can see, the Eiffel Tower is booked that week, I want to be there, and they can see when the availability is, they say, well, I'll adjust my trip by a few days. And that's the mechanism that's going to spread out tourism.